nightly with your first alert forecast.
Starting out with the Perry and Young Tower Cam, looking at downtown here. We got a little bit of haze as we look off to the south. That's with the wind and the sea breeze, so some sea breeze haze or sea spray haze that is showing up there with the wind elevated 79. The wind is out of the south at 9 miles per hour. The dew point sitting at 70, so that is right there on the edge of what I would call a tropical air mass. 70 on that dew point. Certainly can feel the humidity at that point. Moderate category in pollen, 8.7. The air quality is good. Hickory, grasses, and oak as your main pollinators at the moment. UV index back up to 9.9 for tomorrow, so take the sunscreen if you're headed to the pool, out to the beach, or on the boat. 79 our temperature, 76 in Apalachicola, 87 in Bluntstown as well as Mariana. Those locations were the places that we could have saw 90 today, so wouldn't be surprised if some spots around I-10 did get there. And it is quite humid. The dew points just continue to be funneled up off of the Atlantic and out of the Gulf. We're sitting the dew point around 68 to 70. The same in Houston. You can see that warm, moist air working all the way up into New York, with Buffalo sitting at 61 on that dew point, and then drier air on the backside of that frontal boundary. Minneapolis sitting with a dew point at 37. We do have moisture on the way. You can see it not too far away from us, but this is really going to fade, and most of it will not make it into the area. If you're wanting rain, you'd really need to be along or to the north of I-10, not only as we go through the rest of today, but also into the weekend. And why is it so important that we need rain? Well, we've got some fires around the area. The most producing smoke is actually in the Apalachicola National Forest right now, as well as outside of our area. But all the fires have mostly been well contained. There have been 2 reported fires today, one in Jackson County and then one in Bay County, and we'll update those as we learn more information. They look to be relatively small fires, so hopefully those will be contained pretty quickly. Moisture working in the overnight hours, but mixing out by the time we get into the midday. That's when you shouldn't be burning. Sometime around noon to about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, you can see these relative humidity values really drop. That's because the temperature rises and the dew point doesn't rise with it. We call that mixing, and the wind helps to mix that moisture out. So where you see these really dry areas, that's where fire can spread quickly, especially with those relative humidity values on the low side. The good news is overnight we're getting high relative humidity values, allowing for fog to develop, and then during the day we're holding on to those dew points and temperatures at least manageable, 84 to 92 for those daytime highs. Fog in the morning as well as some cloud cover again. Basically what we've done the last 2 days. If you want rain this weekend, like I said, you got to be around I-10. That's going to be the best chance, around 20% there. South of I-10, really around a 10% chance, and north of there, maybe a 30 to 40% chance. Dothan might even see upwards of about a half an inch of rain through the weekend, but just looks slim. If you're playing the rain lotto and you're along the coast, well, just keep playing. 10 to 20% all the way through the next 8 days. By the time we get to next Friday, we may have a frontal boundary come in here and help to deposit a little bit more moisture. Rain lotto chances not looking much better inland, only around 30%. So still crossing the fingers and hoping here.
I think I'm just going to be in the pool all day tomorrow.
The pool sounds like a great place to be tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely.